right, our draft for game number 1 of Evil Geniuses versus Newbee, and it's going to be a first pick puck for EG.
I just called both the bands.
Grant,
EG,
you get a fist pound. Good work.
Oh, real hard. Nice job, Grant.
Thank you.
Woo, boy.
Would you have said they're going to ban Night Stalker?
Absolutely. Night Stalker provides a ton of vision. EG loves working on vision. Although this is the wrong team, but you know, they were making sure.
Yep. And then I think the Wisp band out on the other side tree. I mean, we've seen Zai and Crit. I mean, they trade off quite a bit, but Zai on that tree is actually insanely good. And you just don't want those vision heroes. So 3 of them banned out right now. You just don't want to give someone that way to move around the map, create kills.
It also takes away one of the other heroes that Newbee likes to be able to run so far in this patch, which is the Phoenix. The Tree Protector Phoenix has a very important link and synergy, really makes the Phoenix work. So instead, Newbee are going to be opening up with the Crystal Maiden Sand King, another duo that has a lot of synergy. Sand King is never going to be one for mana, that's for sure.
And we've seen the Sand King run in both roles. I think they open it up here. They just take it for the easy stun Crystal Maiden. I mean, it's such a good hero. You're never going to get it banned out, but it just provides so much to every lane once you get that. And it's a strong laning hero once you get to level like 2-ish. It can jungle as well, which is nice, even though in this patch that's been nerfed a tad bit. And there's Bane, probably the best laner in the game. You just go middle, throw an Enfeeble up if you really want, and that hero's going to do nothing.
I got a question for you intelligent men. Why is Tidehunter getting picked up? Is it something that could happen in this series, do you think, by Newbee? I mean...
Newbee, they just enjoy picking up. They enjoy it, especially against like Terrorblade, Naga, just those illusions here. And I mean, if you anchor smash a TB, I think that's one of the biggest reasons they pick it. It actually does 0 damage.
Yeah, Tidehunter really falls flat when you see a matchup where anchor smash doesn't have impact. Then you're just a walking Ravage. There's plenty of other big teamfight heroes that could provide that to you. So I feel like the Tidehunter usually picked after they at least have some idea what the cores is. And I think the other big thing is the fact that the offlane no longer having shrines to be able to work off of. Offlaners that have better natural survivability have a lot more value in lane.
Okay, that makes sense. So we have a lot of silence, we have a lot of control already coming out from Evil Geniuses draft, and that's pretty scary stuff when you're talking about high damage magical heroes like Sand King and Crystal Maiden. Easy ways to kind of screw up their big ults they really need to pick off, so I don't know if they're going to keep investing on that big magical damage on Newbee, or if they're going to go for a little something else. What would be good is some crowd control. Could we see a Magnus perchance coming out there, helping with those big team fight ultimates?
Yeah, but I'm just seeing Newbee actually bans out in the Invoker, thinking maybe it's not a Sumail puck.
I was going to ask you,
an off-lane.
Is it an off-lane Universe puck?
We've seen Universe play before. I mean, obviously Newbee studies. They both have extremely talented coaches in Fear and Sandshang, so maybe they see something they want to do, and that puck's not a dead giveaway like we thought it was middle.
Well, gentlemen, I don't know if you know any stats, but let me tell you about 2 tuples, all right? 2 tuples are what we stats people call a win percentage based on 2 heroes being picked together.
2 tuples?
Yes, the 2 tuple. Highest 2 tuple coming out with Sand King without Invoker would probably be a Juggernaut. So leading to my statistical analysis, I would presume that we'll be seeing that on Newbee.
You're okay with it being picked up against Bane, who has a disabled
and with them already having a Sven.
Puck being able to get in instant
There's Sven, you know. He's almost Juggernaut, so that was pretty close. Good for me.
Good for you.
Thank you. Back to you, Cap.
Oh, you got my name right this time.
You got it.
Sven is an interesting pick because usually Newbee likes to counter the other cores, and I mean Sven doesn't really counter anything right now. It's just an extremely strong, especially with Lifestealer still in the pool against him, as well as Juggernaut. They just scoop up the Sven, not even versus like we saw him pick it versus Bristleback.
I feel like most of the current meta heroes though aren't really good versus Sven. In that regard, that like if you look at Lifestealer, you've got heavy armor, you've got Troll, also heavy armor, and Sven's one of the few heroes that actually battles against it. It almost feels like Evil Geniuses are going to have to play kind of a keep-away game.
There we go.
And there's definitely a keep-away hero, Razor. Being able to kite the Sven, it's really the only way you can play against this hero.
And with a Bane in the game now, you have to be very wary of an aggro tri-lane, actually from EG contesting that Sven's farm, I think.
In one word, hubris. All right, they got a lot of catch for that Razor. Razor's a quick boy. He weaves in and out. He's got to get those rampages. You typically lack stuns. Look at all the stuns we got coming out here from Newbee. Crystal Maiden, Sand King, Sven. That's a lot of control, boys. I don't know how well this Razor's going to do.
It's a lot of single target control as well.
Indeed.
Which Razor is Good, bad? Which one is it, Slacks?
Why do you keep asking me questions?
Usually Razor's pretty good against those kind of things.
Oh, well, la-dee-da, maybe in your games. Anyway.
So say Sven pops his war cry and throws out the Stormhammer on the Razor.
I don't even know what Warcry does, but can we just move this along, please?
Why do you keep moving so much closer to me, Slacks?
I don't know. I get nervous, and I feel like you're
I feel like he's under pressure.
I'm fine. I'm fine.
Yeah, both teams actually using a little bit of time. I mean, some think it's nervousness. Others think they just want to, make the other team nervous.
They're not
Damn.
sure if it's a puck mid. Would you be okay with them grabbing the Queen of Pain, one of the last remaining tempo controllers with the puck and the Lina already taken out of the pool? One picked and one ban.
On EG or Newbee or
A newbie.
on Newbee? Well, there you go.
Yeah,
Take that
hey,
right
good
there.
call,
No,
Greg, Greg.
Thank you.
Yeah, good for you.
I'm a genius.
Oh.
And now I think it's pretty obviously a puck middle now. And then you have the qual matched up, and I mean that's. gone
Wait, you
back for
think
years.
Samael's like, I'm down with, because it's a 1v1 skill matchup,
Yeah,
right?
I
You
think
think
so.
Samael's feeling.
Until the Bane just comes, throws an Enfeeble on the other hero, and you're like, wow, Samael's really good.
Alert! Alert! Darkseer has yet to be banned, and the universe has yet to select his hero. So, if there has ever been a higher power, please let this be the Darkseer game.
The problem is, Darkseer, not very good, and especially in the late game against Sven and Queen of Pain.
Well, you know.
You just blink in, you vacuum, and then what are you going to do? You just BKB, she blinks away. It's not the best pick I've seen.
Well, then what would you pick, Grant?
Wait, do you want more control out of your offlane, or like a disruptive hero like Clockwork that can help kite the Sven around, or do you want something to focus more on the Queen of Pain?
I think you need your initiator, something like
Yeah.
a Clockwork, or even, I mean, I don't really think they're ever going to pick Tidehunter, but I think Tidehunter's actually decent in this matchup, and, well, we get to see the Zytusk now.
Hey-o. I like Tusk. I like where he's come. He's kind of been the replacement to Earth Spirit, right? Earth Spirit used to be everybody's go-to early game aggressive gank person. And I don't know. Tusk is a lot of fun. He's got kind of the powers of Earthshaker, able to cut people off. He's got a lot of burst damage for roaming, and he's got that great save too. So,
When I think about winning a LAN tournament, I think about having fun, not winning.
well, I mean, he's fun and winning. And guess what? People that win LAN tournaments are the ones that are having the most fun. That's why Evil Geniuses has not won in a long time.
Sounds like a vicious cycle.
Was that too harsh?
No.
You know
I
who
feel like the Tusk is also one of the supports that works best of the 4 positions that we used to see that were a lot more independent. Tusk works a lot better with his other 5 position support. Snowball being able to pull them in with help the initiation. It also works as a nice hero to be able to control. So we have this Razor who wants to be able to, kind of kite these heroes but still keep in distance to them. Both the Ice Shards, Snowball can actually work really well in that regard as well, and then the Sigil. All 3 of those things can actually work out really well to the favor of the Razor when it comes to kiting the Sven.
Damn, talk about respect bans. Getting rid of the Faceless Void? Who the hell picks Faceless Void anymore? That's fantastic.
Well,
Quite a
that would
few
be
teams.
Evil Geniuses.
Exactly.
Picked up the offlane Faceless Void.
Almost like it's a old pick from their history that makes the team have a lot of variety, isn't it? Capitalist?
Or a recent pickup that they grabbed with heroes like Phoenix.
Neat.
So we're talking about EG, but Newbee is very much, I mean, both teams are just, I think they're still looking for an offlaner. I think it's going to be a 4-position Sand King trying to move around the map, get some vision. I could be wrong, but we'll see what EG thinks. I always like to see in the last team ban, like if you have something like a Sand King, like could be 4, could be 3. What do they think it's going to be? What do you think it's going to be, Slacks?
You have a 50-50 chance to get it right. This is your best odds for the whole entire panel.
I was not
Were you
listening.
even listening to me by now?
Or you somehow found a 0% win, which was not listening to the question.
Well, I was thinking. I was thinking about the next ban. I didn't think about anything. So, Cap, what are you, how you doing? What's up, buddy? Do you like Dota? Hey, Abaddon! You know what's a great hero from NA is Abaddon. You get a lot of aggression there.
Did you say Abaddon and Abaddon in the
Well,
same
you gotta
sentence?
cover both bases
That's
there,
smart.
Grant. Evil Genius Classic, coming in with that NA flavor. Although
is.
Newbee is also a team that's run some Abaddon style.
That's true, but it is the NA Classic. I know IX Mike ended up teaching Universe Set here, and that's where it really came into the meta, so we'll see if they know how to deal with it. And that's finally, it gives them a frontliner along with Razor, so you just have him run in, Razor just static links someone, and I mean, with Bane, you get that sleep off. They have a ton of team fight.
It works very well versus it works very well versus the Tidehunter because you can dispel that disable with your borrowed time and then a Photic Shield on somebody else. But Black Hole, on the other hand, is not something that you could deal with as an Abaddon.
Hell yeah.
But you do have a Puck and Bane on the other side. It's just going to be an all-around. It is going to be that roaming Sand King, so...
It is definitely like a lot of skirmish power on Evil Geniuses
Both
and
have a huge team
a lot
fight.
of big 5-man team fight for Newbee.
Yeah, the only thing I have against EG is, I mean, where's their building hitters? You're going to have to win like a 5-0 team fight, and you're going to have to go for the rest of it. It's gonna be rough.
Razor being your building hitter is the closest thing you have, and it's pretty much like what on Aghanim Scepter and maybe Refresh. You basically have to be really far ahead.
At the beginning of the draft for Newbee, I said that they had a lot of magical damage, but they needed a large amount of lockdown. I really like that Enigma pick. I think it's fantastic, and I think Newbee looked really good in this series. Lincoln Sphere, it's an item, and it's pretty good against Bane.
Grant?
I agree.
Whoa, hey, finally. He said the first smart thing in the entire panel.
I just stopped listening to you again.
Oh, okay.
God help us, I am not going to agree with those two, simply for the fact that I don't want to agree with them. So I'm going to go ahead and lead with Evil Geniuses. Hopefully, our casters will make a lot more sense than our panel. Give it to the 100% and 0% duo. It is Toby and Merlini.
Thank you, Sheever.
Thank you very much, Cap. It's fantastic to be here, especially on the desk where the ties actually reach our necks. I'm Toby1. I'm joined by Merlini. Winners bracket final time. EG up against Newbee. What are your thoughts on the draft?
I think that you were extremely happy that Enigma was picked last. You were waiting for it.
I am very, very happy that Enigma got picked up, but I don't know if he's going to be successful or not.
Yeah, they do have anti-PKP, always a thing of concern. Actually, they have two ways to break the Lincolns as well with the Razor. So he's not going to be as immune as he was perhaps earlier in this tournament.
Yeah, it's going to be a very problematic game for an Enigma, and we'll see how much space he also gets. The other thing we kind of want to look at is the effectiveness of Mugi on this Sven. How is this hero meant to tie together in the Newbee lineup? He doesn't have those old school combos where you have like the Darkseer vac into a big Storm Bolt. So what are you looking for out of this Sven?
To not get kited. He's just there to soak up a lot of damage without getting all his damage taken away by...
Get out of there, Kaka. Arteezy's got a lot of stolen damage, which he doesn't want to fight against. And they've still got another 40 seconds to regain control of the Bounty Rune.
Yep, no Observer Ward placed in that top area, so Kaka will have to foot it back to base. Yeah, I think Sven is incredibly difficult to play in this. Normally you want like a Pike or a Force Staff versus the Razor so you don't get all your damage sucked away. And then he has to deal with like potentially like a Puck Ags later, Sleep, and Fiend's Grip. And Tusk, I also think, is one of the best anti-Sven heroes in the game.
Well, they're actually wanting to fight this one. The Observer Ward onto the other side of the tree line, hoping for a target. They do actually have a couple right there. Tuska is the closest one, which is Zai, but he's not in range for the Burrow Strike. It's Arteezy on the Bounty Rune. So out they come. Stormbolt to start it off. Burrow Strike to follow up, and they want that damage with the Frostbite. They're going to hold him there, and Arteezy will fall. First blood goes the way of Newbee, but they may have a little bit more in the tank. You've got him on the chase, and then the shards can't block him out, so the Burrow Strike starts once more. Mango Charge being used with a Frostbite from Faith. It'll be enough, and EG, it was an aggressive play to try and take the Bounty Rune. It was very much telegraphed, and Newbee punished them.
EG just had no idea that was coming along. They had a couple heroes trying to go back to the left side to get that creep block, but that's going to hurt their tri-lane greatly, feeding 2 deaths already.
But they're still going to try and keep up with it, so Arteezy just tries to force Mugi out of the lane. But this is a really good start for at least the Newbee lineup. KP should have a little bit of a better time on this bottom lane. At least it's not melee versus melee. You got that Enigma going up against Abaddon, and you would have to favor the Enigma in that matchup.
Certainly so. He did start off with boots first, though, in the off lane. We've seen a lot of mangoes into Soul Rings, but I suppose he did not expect a one-on-one versus Abba. Universe is not going to get that great a farm down there.
Arteezy. He's still got a creep wave under the tower, so he's okay with this, but after what happened previously, you've still got to get a little bit of respect to the 3-stun combination that Newbee is able to provide out of these heroes.
Once he picks up Unstable Current, it should be a lot more difficult for them because they have a lot of click target spells onto the Razor. But I doubt he's going to pick it up early. Maybe level 4, I would say.
But they just keep persisting, so we have to keep our eyes as closely as we can up on this top lane. We'll keep checking in at least with the last instant eyes to watch the other lanes. And that mid lane is one of those ones where easy to miss kills, so good luck to observe for the top lane, Stormbolt, but With the damage already being stolen, the Sven doesn't want to fight that one. But you got the burst damage of the Queen versus the maneuverability and just the great play of the Puck. Like, that's the old school matchup you always want to see, the Puck versus the Queen of Pain. The panel was talking about it, or at least the good parts of it, talking about like the skill-based hero where you want to have that Puck versus the Quap. It's fantastic to watch closely.
Sumail edging him out in that matchup. If you practice 1v1s as a mid, this is one of the ones you probably practiced the most. Maybe not so much recently, but over the lifetime of practicing 1v1s, surely so. And I think Puck has gotten a lot more buffs than Quap in this, especially because of the mana on the orb being reduced. So I think before it was maybe more 50-50, now a little bit Puck favored perhaps.
Well, so far Sumail is on top of it with the CS. He's only 7-ish ahead. Nightmare to begin, so start the static link. Easy way to actually steal a lot of damage. He has to walk around the shards. So Arteezy gets a lot more damage with the Frostbite. They're not looking to fight here, Newbee. Just disengage from that big plus damaged Razor.
They're enabling the Razor a lot. He should be able to get off a lot of links. You can snowball in, you can punch them to keep it in place. You have shards and the sleep and the coil. So it's a pretty good game for the Razor to maximize his damage. They just need to make sure that he can tank the Sven in case Sven tries to destroy him before.
Oh, actually jumping in behind the tower. SC, the Shadow Strike's going to miss. Sumail able to phase shift. He doesn't have a lot of mana to work with. He's got 4 1 charges up his sleeve. So SC going to trigger the salve next to the tier 2 tower, and with no creep wave left, Sumail will be forced to retreat.
SEC almost already died in that lane. He did have to pop the Fairy Fire and salve up before, and it was going on during that engagement on top, but Sumail's putting a lot of pressure on him. The CS has widened to 24-13.
Oh, he's been so defensive. Then the top lane CS is terrible for Sven. Like, Razor has taken 13-9 out of that lane to the 8-1 of the Sven. And this is still where you have the Crystal Maiden and the SK, 2 heroes that would probably want to be smoking, rotating, and actually putting pressure on Sumail. They're incapable of doing so at the moment. They have to stay and fight against this aggro tri-lane of EG. Give away 2 kills or not, it's hurting the economics of Newbee.
This'll come in handy.
And they should be having a better laning phase in this. They're down in net worth despite having First Blood, having Second Blood, and having the CM aura, which should, in theory, help their lanes a lot.
There's just no way to farm, right? Like, you want to put the Crystal Maiden a little bit further into the jungle, at least to get 1 or 2 creeps, but she just hasn't been able to leave.
Yeah, they don't want to leave this Sven alone at all. Maybe it's time for them to try and potentially just sack this lane, let Sand King leech XP, and
Can you fight the other way? Like, can you actually just, like, do this? Start with your first stun. Oh, okay, there's your snowball protection. Burrow Strike catching out too. The damage is high as Arteezy, who's taking it, but he's actually stealing it back out again. Class of Fuel will do a little bit of chip damage. Kaka is low, moves up into the tree line, but Zai also, no abilities available. Another Storm Bolt to throw out. Crit in the neighborhood, but what can he really provide? No abilities off cooldown at the moment, so the Frostbite holds Zai in position, and maybe, okay, Snowball will buy a little bit of time. He's going to the creep wave. He's a little bit more distance, but the Plasma Field, Arteezy will rejoin the lane, but it's already too late for Zai as he does fall.
A little bit of risky play by the Tusk and the Bane. They didn't use like defensive sleep on the Razor to stop the chain stun, and they used the Ice Shards very, very late into the fight, and Razor was almost dead at that point, so now he has to build a lot more defensively, maybe get some raindrops in the lane. He already had a stick, but still with no level in his unstable current, it's easy for them to jump him.
And this is not where Newbee really wanted to be. Okay, yeah, you're 4-0 on the board, but you're still behind in net worth. And this is the rotation where Newbee have to make this work. They have to keep Sumail down, or else Sumail's going to start controlling these team fights too well, but they can't get close enough to get the jump off. Not to mention Sumail with the double nulls plus a magic wand. Not the easiest hero in the world to kill. And he has his Dream Coil.
Yeah, they would have to catch him, I think, with a level 2 Burrow Strike, but 450 range is a little bit less than what you need to jump there, and they shore that up. Zai TP to the mid, and they use a scan.
And Arteezy with that static link, it even is pushing Newbee back over. That one Observer Ward is watching the movement of Newbee so well, but Arteezy, okay, he's going to stick around. He's got 5 stick charges available, crit with the Nightmare, keeping Sven off Arteezy, but he can't do enough. Mugi will take the kill and crit. Still a little bit far up. You can see Kaka just itching to go for the extra stun. He'll do it, but now he's stuck in the trees. The shards fly forward. Zai, oh, it pushes him out, but still is able to get the vision, so Crit can brain sap the kill out of Kaka.
And kill score is 5-1 in favor of Newbee, but CS still going heavily in way of EG. I still think they could be playing this top lane a lot better. Picking up the 1 level in the unstable current is much more defensive for them, and RTZ also didn't spend gold before he died. There's just a lot of small things that is going to force them to move the Razor into safe lane. At least he has his shiny cosmetics.
Yeah, money can't buy you victories.
Do you remember at TI4 when they picked Razor every game? I think it's partially to do because he had the golden immortal on the head.
Dream Coil SC, he's going to trigger it just by blinking away quickly. He does not want to stand and fight up against Samel, especially with the chance of getting hit by that level 3 orb. Not to mention the raindrops, all that money which Samel's managed to farm up. He's got 8 1 charges, having the raindrops as well as having the 3 full bottle charges. Faith, okay, this might be a better opportunity. Zai throws down the Observer Ward, actually has to go inside the snowball, turns into Kaka. They haven't used their stun, and Faith actually just abandoned it the second the snowball went out.
I wonder how greedily KP is going to play in this bottom lane. We've seen a lot of Midases, especially from the Chinese teams, but I don't know if they can get away with that this game. I think all of EG scores want to fight, especially with a puck in your mid. You're going to be farming much less than you would be normally.
I'd love to actually see the build that comes out from him, like if he goes for the early blink after having that veil.
You're biased. You want as many black holes as possible, so you're waiting for cooldown reduction, Octarine, or Refresher.
The blink would be perfect. Like blink is just like you just jump around the corner and all of a sudden I've got myself the perfect position around the black hole to cancel off KP. And then actually starts to beg the question then, like, how does KP then build? The BKB will not be enough if Samel's able to finish up his Aghanim Scepter. And then you got the other issue of, like, then what is your purpose? Do you become a pusher? Do you go for the mech build? Do you just go for this big, sustained, walk at you kind of thing?
Depends on how much they want to farm up with the Sven. Sven's forced to use his ultimate on just neutral creep.
Frostbite Fire Strike has to connect here from Kaka. The Dream Call keeps SC away. He wants to let the Sonic Wave fly or connect on the Samel, but he can't move anywhere. If he does, he'll trigger the Dream Call and then die. But Samel, so low on life, the Caustic is there as well as the Shadow Strike jumping up. Quick bottle charges. Samel still living. 3 heroes committed from Newbee, and they still cannot bring down the Wonder Boy.
Cool players backpack their raindrops when they get jumped.
Save them for a rainy day. All right, so a little bit of a switch up now with the lanes. Universe has moved up to the top lane. This will allow Arteezy a little bit more safety on the bottom. I say that he currently has no friends on the bottom. So you start off with a Malefice into the Frostbite, Fire Strike still available, and a big army of conversions. That's a very simple kill, and surprisingly, EG not bringing friends down there to ensure the Razor is still safe.
It would just be another hero dying, I would say. But at least you would possibly commit the black hole.
Samel is playing this perfectly around the tower. The double TPs are coming. SC's regeneration blinks up, avoids the attack. And now Samel is on the run. Nova will slow him down. He has Face Shift available. Dream Calls off cooldown in 1 second time as well. So he turns around. Is he going back in for this one? You bet he is. A back cut of the tower. Samel will find the kill. Makes a break for the tree line. Face Shift half a second. Wow! He lets it go. And now caught in the tree lines. He will finally fall down. But he hit that E button.
Perfect wow right there.
LD, we love you, bro. This is just a tribute.
I think it was like in that exact same spot too.
It was, that's the reason. Never forget.
It's funny how things turn out like that.
Oh boy.
Dude, there's a puck veil and Quap has nothing. Quap doesn't even have boots.
Yeah, this isn't a great game for a Quap. Puck is the top net worth at 4.3k, and the Quap is sitting at immediately not even a 2.2. Like, he's not at 2.2k. Now, bottom lane, Nightmare will begin. There is a lot of conversions just hitting into the tower, but in comes Samel with the Brain Sap and the orb damage plus the Rift. It's so much work, and then Zai, well, he kind of stole that one, but it's all about a team game.
Did lose a tower, though, so Newbee already claiming more objectives than EG, and that will put them slightly ahead in the net worth lead, but I still think they're going to have a lot of trouble with this Queen of Pain. Just there's a lot of spell to control already. I think like Snowball's pretty good. If you blink away, you'll still get chased down. Puck has tons of control for the Queen, but how are you going to recover as CCC? This has been one of his standout heroes, so this is going to be the most crucial game for him if he can come back.
Well, that's when you wonder, like
this.
is he the one that then creates the space? You've just finished up the Mask of Madness over on Sven. You can look for the flash farm from him, and then Newbee force an engagement, but Is that what you want to do? Right now, it looks like the 5-man maneuver of EG is a lot scarier than what Newbee is going to be dishing out, and you don't have that control. So even something like an Orchid for a pickoff on the puck, this doesn't exist. Tier 1 tower will be lost, and, well, okay, it's up to Kaka. Looking for the Burrow Strike. They're going to focus first over on the Abaddon, but Universe, he can tank through this. The Sonic Wave from SC connects on 3 players, triggering off Universe's ultimate, but Kaka trapped on the wrong side of the tracks. They have to blink away. A quick Frostbite, but crit. The Fiend's Grip is out. Hold him! And bring down the Queen of Pain, but they may not be done yet. Here comes Samael. Dream Call, Rip, Orb, the TP out. He might just die from the damage on the TP. Fate, he will all the way home. At least he was sent back to his parents.
Die as a team, all back at the fountain now. Mugi, the only one able to respond here, but they're fighting without their Enigma. Enigma has committed for the Midas, so I'm very surprised. They already got the deny on the tower. They didn't have to go in there. Sand King Burrow struck in and then had 168 damage stolen from him. And
Is this Newbee feeling the pressure? Is this Newbee going like, we don't have control of this game. We have to slow EG down somehow?
You don't do it by throwing bodies at them, Toby.
I'm not going to.
Does that work in your
I'm not
games?
going to disagree with this fact, but right now, SK is your only playmaker you've got, and he was looking for something.
Baiting into a black hole is likely their best option, but for a lot of the fights, EG are approaching from multiple angles. Even that fight, it was one hero in front of the T1, another hero behind the T1, and another hero close to the T2. So they're sweeping in from multiple angles, which just makes it incredibly difficult for Enigma to go for that black hole.
Maybe that's when we have to start looking at the vision game, right? Like, you got Enigma with the Blightstone, you've got his conversion army, take out these tier 1 towers, establish vision dominance over EG, so if they do come, you can move and get the better trade-off.
Who's supposed to lay the vision, though? They don't have a Night Stalker that was first man. They don't have like a Riki, a tree. There's no good way for them to get out wards.
Put CM in the jungle, kill a couple of creeps, get some money, and then sacrifice it to put down the wards.
Yeah, it might be a good call to do the smoke into obs at this point.
Yep.
They need some better vision so they don't get caught out by this puck who is going to be the one killing everyone on the map, including this broke Quap.
Yeah, Blink Dagger being on the puck, combining with the Veil. Like, this Queen of Pain, even if she wanted to escape, like, she's looking at her own Veil. But right now, she needs a Yule Scepter to even escape from the puck's initiation, and that's a very long dream.
Middle tower is under attack.
Already have Vlad's up on EG, so they have the 5-man items that they need already. The Veil of the Vlad's is already going to be enough, especially when you have nothing on the side of Newbee that's going to help them out. But just need to keep up the ancient stacking. Universe trying to see where and when this Sven is going to farm. They already have the Zebra Ward placed over there, and they could easily control him with a grip from a low ground. They have no reach to go on a hero like that.
Oh, Kaka, the only place to hide is in Doo-Doo-Doo up on that top lane. And, well, he can't hide there for much longer. The shards won't push him out of this. They don't actually have detection, so Kaka can be very happy. That's a level 2 Sandstorm. He can sit in there for a while, moves off towards the side, doesn't have it for another 8 seconds with the Burrow Strike, and then TP out. They just committed a Dream Call as well. Didn't find him.
That's exactly what you mentioned. The Sand King is going to be their main playmaker for Newbee, but instead of having 3 or 4 heroes follow him in, instead this time they just leave him alone. If he dies, so be it. At least we'll get some nation farm, and if not, even better.
Blink Dagger number 1 has now arrived. It's only 200 gold for the SKs as well, and this is when Newbee can actually start to do something. So we said it was the SK doing the initiation before. It was very obvious. I walk in and I stun. This time around, it's going to be the Sven who's actually picking that up. So he's got that Mask of Madness plus having the Blink Dagger. This is where EG could potentially get picked off if they are found just a little bit further out. And KB in the meantime seems to be having a great time on bottom lane. Continues to push, continues to let the Hand of Midas do his work. And he's also going for the Blink Dagger. So they're going for the full jump in, catch EG out of position. You're right, that's exactly what they feel like they need to do.
They're just being very, very patient about it, though. Whereas EG, they're committing all in on the mid-game items. He's going for a Lincoln Sphere on the puck. We see the Razor commit for a Drums phase instead of like a Midas BOTs like we see often. And Universe also not going for a Midas on the Abba. So it's very clear that they want to take out these T2s, control the Ancients, do not let the Sven and Enigma get big.
They're looking for an opening, but they will not find it. Zai breaks his smoke next to the tier 2 tower in the mid lane. As EG, they were on the hunt. Their Observer Ward only barely missed seeing the Crystal Maiden. But for a smoke maneuver like that, they really wanted more. And this is when Newbee want to fight. Like, they're using bait. There goes Clark. Quick jump away. Blink Burrow Strike. Now into the Storm Bolt. They have to hold him there, but the Nightmare can stop it just a little bit, but not enough. Still brought down, and Kaka, well, it's a glorious epicenter.
3 ultis for one hero. Definitely worth it for them at the pace that they're playing. And just back to the Ancients they go.
But now those ultis are down. EG can start to posture a little bit further forward. Faith almost getting caught out by those shards.
EG may need to start considering some other items, maybe like a Lotus Sword to prevent the stun lock on some heroes, maybe a Solar Crest so they can sneak down Roche pretty easily. Razor is quite terrible at taking down Roche because you generally won't have any stolen damage, and his skill set is just awful for doing it. So I don't actually think they can do it anytime soon.
Do you actually agree also with the Lincoln Sphere over on the puck, over something else which is probably going to do the same job in the Yule Scepter?
It's to prevent the chain stun. They don't have a good save. I mean, the Tusk snowball is risky because you're snowballing into a potential like Black Hole or Sven stun or Freezing Field. There's plenty of spells that you don't really want to go into. And the defensive sleep is also a little bit risky just because Bane doesn't have the greatest range. He gets his like cast range talent much later at level 20. He doesn't have any farm to get an Aether Lens, and I think you risk exposing 2 heroes with the Yule Scepter, and they don't really need it to interrupt anything. I guess it'd be decent at cutting this Sven, but he's more worried about
jump top lane. But the Observer Ball was up for the Radiant side. They knew exactly what was coming. Snowball forward. The Fiend's Grip is out, and they just have to keep the Sven in position while Arteezy steals all of his damage. Flip him like an omelet, and they will bring down the Sven. Kaka again has to hide inside the Sandstorm. He might want to have a bit of a crack at Arteezy if he knows he's sitting up at the tree line, but no, it is not worth it. Instead, they look their attention towards the mid. Faith letting it go, but the damage from Samel will be more than enough. It's actually Universe who gets it with a missed call, but the Black Hole out from KP, holding 2 of them there, so Samel will fall, but they don't have any damage to kill off Universe, not when that ulti triggers. In fact, they bring him straight back up to full life.
Yeah, poor Puck gets ultied every single time, but his team can't really do anything about it because they were set up and prepped for top. I do like the response from Newbee immediately identifying that these 2 heroes in the mid are alone, and they could have just Black Hole the Puck alone, and it still would have been the same result for them. And Enigma escapes scot-free.
Okay, you're talking about a lot of mid-game items. We get that Hand of Midas now over on the Razor. Is this a little bit of an inkling into Evil Geniuses thinking a little bit more about the later mid-game?
I think it's more so that they realize that they haven't been able to take any good fights. Oh, that was me?
Yeah.
Whoops.
Thanks, Finol.
Yo. I was trying to pull up the net worth, but...
You'll be answering for that one a little bit later on.
It was only 5 seconds. It was not during a team fight.
That's the exact second of Finol. All right.
I should probably unbind that.
Yeah, you should.
I've had an offensive GG called once because I had it bound. You say it in pubs all the time. Good game, well played. Are you not a mannered player, Toby?
The only manners I ever use is yelling out "It's a disaster" with my chat wheel at the end of a game now.
What did you do before that?
GG. Lost. All right. Yeah. Okay, back to the game. So the fun continues. Yeah. Well, so we're talking about the timing for the Razor before that actually happened. So is this EG just like what are we looking for that Midas to actually do?
Hold on, let me unbind pause. Okay.
Damn, Malini. Call the police on you. Yeah, so with the Razor, like, what are we looking for that Midas to actually achieve for him?
Carry them through this mid-game phase where Newbee doesn't want to fight. They're holed up near the Ancients and near their T2s. Anytime they want to take a fight, it's going to be very close to a shrine, and all their vision has expired in that area, at least on the top side of the map. There's only one Observer Ward on the bottom side, so they're worried about all of their mid-game investment into these items not paying off, and it hasn't. Puck's died twice. Razor got 1 kill on top, but he could have had so much more net worth. They haven't been able to use the drum charges for really anything, and now it's just going to be a slow farm fest as they try and prep with this Enigma, who is going to be very, very large. He is number 2 in net worth right now, and he is going for a BKB next. So this means they probably need to buff up the Bane a little bit because he's their best anti-BKB at the moment.
And that's a difficult thing, man. Like, there's a lot of jump still in the Newbee lineup. So Bane being able to get his Fiend's Grip off KP's only going to commit that black hole when he knows the Bane is under control. Like, the puck will be the other one, but if the BKB is already there, and with this Lincoln Sphere build coming on the puck, the Aghanims is going to take a very long time to come up.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
I wonder how EG are going to approach the fight, though. Like, it's not really working out so well for them that they have, like, the puck out alone. He's been dying a lot.
Epicenter coming in. Kaka just lets it rip on the top lane, but you're up against Universe. He just turns on the blade mail, takes the life back. And, well, that felt really ineffective.
Radiant's
Still get the tower.
has fallen.
True.
That's what they were there for in the first place. Doesn't matter if it gets denied. They just want to be able to control the map.
So you started to use Epicenter as a zoning tool.
It's working. The fights are, what, maybe every 4 minutes, I would say? So as long as you don't really need it for something, I don't really think either side expects to do Roche anytime soon.
Well, this Sven definitely doesn't. Like, this is almost like no Tidehunter kind of style. We just stack, we farm. With those tier 1 towers falling down, EG reacting to that, they're not invading Newbee's jungle at all.
They can. They prep for it, but Newbee have strength in numbers, and they have the shrines always up. They're very careful about the shrine usage. I don't think they've used either of those shrines for the last 10 minutes, just because they know that they need to be able to hold that area, or else they're going to fall very far behind in that work. And Sven's been able to farm Ancients all day. We haven't seen too much of him, but he's just farming away, and a very important thing for Sven is knowing when to buy the BKB. If you buy it too early, you're going to fall behind in farm. If you buy it too late, you're just constantly going to die and be behind in farm. So he looks like he's going to pick it up fourth after the Mask of Madness, the Echo, and the Blink, which is going to be good enough for him. He actually doesn't need that many items, because if they get a good black hole, then they can destroy them, but he does need to be fairly tanky so that they can set up and prep for the black hole.
We were actually tossing that up before during the drafting phase, actually getting like Armlet over Echo Saber. Do you think there's like a primary reason why he still goes in for the Echo?
Echo's way better for farming, I would say. Armlet is decent, but you lack on the mana regeneration. And
This fight, bottom lane, Samel jumps in, KP with a quick blink away, still gets caught by the Dream Call, starts the TP. It will not get all the way through, and in fact Sven just hide in the trees and get the hell out of there. KP has been playing with fire a little bit with this. He kept having the conversions push down the bottom lane. It was forcing rotations down from EG supports, trying to farm up the conversions and then create more and more space for the Sven. So I suppose at the end of the day, you still get what you were looking for. More space to farm up, even though you didn't find the kill.
And still, EG are having a lot of trouble controlling these Ancients. And they do replace the Observer War on the bottom side of the map, but still, even though they see the Sven, they can't do anything about it. And I think SEC has also done a nice job of recovering. He was, half a Puck's net worth. Now he's just within 1,000 gold because Puck has died twice, and Queen of Pain has been playing very defensively and safely.
And he's going to have that control item. He's actually going to probably finish up his Orchid before Samael completes the Lincoln Sphere.
Yeah, he probably needs a Yules next. I think he wishes he would have gone for the Midas after the Veil,
Yeah.
but can't take that back.
Yeah, because Newbee have just changed the tempo of this game. EG, you did say like they're itemizing. They're trying to have all this control in the mid game. But for the moment, Newbee, they're the ones with the bass drum.
Yeah, it was a big problem for EG. Every single fight that they want to take is like, you can catch a support outside of the T2,
Yep.
or you have to fight on their shrine, and they didn't want to go for either of those options.
Yeah, the best thing they were able to get is, it's like, okay, well, we take the Enigma. That's fantastic. He is still the second highest net worth in the Newbee lineup. A situation which KP is not unaccustomed to. But at the same time, then the Sven has more space. The Queen of Pain's able to get her first controlling item. And being able to jump into the back line, get that Orchid over on the Bane, it's not something they're going to be able to easily dispel and still have everything they need for the fight. That's why I think like those low assaults you're talking about are going to be really essential for EG.
That is very risky, though, for the Queen to not go for a BKB. The Veil, as you mentioned, is going to be necessary to control heroes like the Bane, as well as a Tusk, I would say, is very important, but...
What a time to jump. They're going to find Universe. Question is, do they have enough to kill a mob here? So the Frostbite, they haven't triggered off the borrowed time just yet. Kaka silenced up, but Mugi, he jumps in. They want the kill on Samel. Face Shift will come out now. KP lets the ulti go. Instantly cancelled. They didn't control the Bane. The Sonic Wave from SC will hit pretty hard. And then Samel back in again. The Dream Call forcing Newbee to fight in this tight tight area, but they have the damage currently. They've burnt through two of them, including Arteezy. Kaka still hiding inside the Infus as Samel tries to play Silly Buggers around the corner. Now jumping away, the TPs will begin. Newbee one out, Mugi can't do it in time. Zai will bring him down. The Samel, he doesn't want to let it end here. He wants some of these extra kills on Newbee as they run away. He won't find them, however, as that SK has already moved back down to the lane, starts his TP, and Samel has no disable against him.
Ooh, they were so close to getting a way better black hole right there, but Bane's positioning was just perfect, and Queen of Pain got the silence on him just a half second too late. And also, they weren't able to burst down the puck in time, too. Maybe if they had the Orchid on him instead, they would have been able to kill him before he jaunted out. But they thought the Sven stun was going to be long enough, and I think that was a great jump by the Sven right there to ideally eliminate puck as soon as the fight starts.
Just feel like that moment again that like you put the Abaddon on the front lines. Like, do I really want to go on this? It's like going on Eternal Envy's Bristleback earlier today. It's like, is this really the fight I'm looking for?
If you can pop his ultimate at the start, yes, but they did not. But Newbee, they have a better position here. They're taking the high ground. There's no shrine over here, and the black hole just comes out a little bit too early, I would say. He might have not even had a black hole right then. He could just BKB and run in, and everyone still has to scramble at the start of the fight. But the war attrition goes EG's way.
Oh, we can come back to the live right now as the fight up on top lane. It's a quick jump away from Samel.
Yeah,
And, from Queen of Pain, but unable to do so, so she'll die underneath the tier 2 tower.
and as I mentioned, it's risky going for the Orchid. If you don't win a fight with that, and you're already behind, you're just going to keep dying. You don't have Yules to get rid of the silence.
You may lose more.
You don't have BKB, yeah.
There's no buyback on SC at the moment, and with no black hole available, they have to use Midnight Pulse to slow down the attack. Epicenter is up. The BKB is now fresh over on Sven, so he's ready to fight as well. That EG, you wouldn't think one small pick off after a decent team fight, and now they're actually going high ground. It's not even pick off, it's just to go assaulting the tier 3 towers. Let Universe sit the front lines. 8 seconds till black hole's off cooldown. EG will know the time and they will back up.
KP, I think definitely the right choice going for the cooldown reduction. He almost ended up in that fight, and EG
Kaka
certainly wary of that.
Blinks, he goes the opposite direction. A blink and a force staff closer into EG's territory. Will avoid the rotating Samel.
I think Kaka's been their saving grace in this early game. Yeah, he's died a couple of times, but I think he's done the job of making sure that Newbee can equalize the net worth, and they've been doing a very good job of just constantly power farming these Ancients. It's just non-stop from Newbee.
Yep. Farm and farm some more. With a Daedalus. Actually, is it Daedalus, or do you actually go for the Bloodthorn to give that extra silence?
I was thinking more, I think those are relatively the same. I would say it's more so, does he want an offensive item like Daedalus / Bloodthorn, or does he want a defensive item like, let's say, a Lincoln Sphere, so he doesn't get grip, so he doesn't get linked.
Maybe his options are still open because he has the Chrysalis and his quick buy.
Yeah, and then he also has to deal with the Halberd. There's a Halberd already built on Universe, so if he gets Lincolns, maybe it's not going to be as effective because it can instantly be popped, and he's not going to have any sort of true strike versus the evasion, so it looks like Bloodthorn or Lincolns, I guess, would be my choice for him, but at the same time, his job's really just a tank more so than anything else. I would say that he actually doesn't need to do that much damage to the fights. If they get a good epicenter and Quap survive, or a good black hole and Quap survives, then that's going to be enough for them to win the fights.
Yeah, but then you still need that physical damage if you can bring it out. Another disable, something to trigger that Lincoln Sphere so you can hit your Stormbolt. A lot of things they're thinking about coming into the next engagement. Top lane, Kaka again as that stands. Okay, KB. So, yep, goodbye Arteezy. BKB was committed as well as Black Hole.
I'll take your tribute.
A pretty safe play from them. TPing out immediately afterwards.
It's really good for Kaka, getting more and more space. He's finding a lot of farm in the lanes, and it's making him rapidly approach that Academ Scepter of the Sand King.
He's even able to just hit this T1 tower without really a fear of dying, just because Razor is dead, and they are coming in, but look at Newbee's Observer Wars. They have one on the northwest side and one on the southeast side. And
wait for the jump. There it comes in. The Burrow Stride's going to miss. They go for the stun over on Bane, and the cleave! The storm is actually not going to be enough to try and save him, snowballing it out, but Zai will fall as well. Moogie with the double kill. KP's not done just yet. They really want to find that kill on Samel, the trigger to Lincoln Sphere, but Kaka unable to connect on the Burrow Strike, but it may not matter. Now it's EG's turn to have 2 heroes now without buyback available. Tier 2 tower, fortifications out, but the jump in a Sonic Wave! The combo is beautiful, and this time around with a body block from Kaka, the holding universe there. Borrow time is exactly what he's got. Faith will let it go. The Blade Mail is all worn off. Kaka, can they hold him there? Another jump forward with the Burrow Strike. They will bring him down. Arteezy stealing damage, but you can't deal damage when you're dead. Newbee enter the base. They had 1 melee creep, which kept the backdoor regeneration off. The buyback out from Arteezy. Damn, this is a costly fight for EG.
It's very commendable that Newbee have just found the exact fights that they wanted to take this entire game. I would say the only fight that they didn't really want to take is the top T1 fight where they lost 2-3 heroes, but ever since that, they're very disciplined. They've just been spreading around the map properly so that it's just one by one. It's EG feeding nonstop.
Oh, that timing. Stormbolt plus the Sonic Wave. Is that perfect? Where you see heroes go from 100 down to 30 and just the runaway at that point.
Yeah, Razor just keeps getting caught by all these AoE stuns. He just got caught by a Stormbolt right there. Not even that large of AoE, but he's just not tanky enough at a very poor laning phase and hasn't been able to
the
kite it
being
off.
over. The Sigil scouted out Roshan, but he's already dead. So the puck all flies in. Obviously, Sumail is not going to follow that one. They needed an extra 2-3 seconds for the rest of EG to arrive.
I do love how Faith is rocking that stash. One of the better cosmetics.
The IX Mike tribute.
I think this is one of the main problems of playing puck in the position too, though. You'll win a lot of fights early, and you'll get ahead, but if you die once, and I think in this case Sumail died a lot more than once in the mid game, you just start to feel very far behind, and you feel like you can't scale as well as the other cores, and you just have to make riskier and riskier plays.
Yeah, that puts more pressure onto the safe laner, so Arteezy stealing a lot of damage. This is a really good fight for them now because they will be able to get a big pickoff. It's the Sven, 604 gold, goes the way of Arteezy. A much-needed kill, a much-needed bit of space. 70 seconds they've got as the window of opportunity. There is the buyback available, but even forcing that out from the Sven is going to be a good thing for them.
Still no black hole coming in. I think if they can set up with a black hole near this T2, it could be pretty bad. That Shrine is still up and alive and healthy down there. And I think I'm trying to think of how EG can actually survive this. I think they want to win the longer game. They want to be able to survive these ultimates and then turn around and fight.
Well, you're seeing actually Sumail change up his build as well. He is going back in for that Yule Scepter. A little bit of trouble for the Crystal Maiden. Dreamclaw will connect. Hiding inside the Glimmer Cape Kaka. They trigger the Lincoln Sphere, get the Burrow Strike off Faith. He's actually coming back in, only on 400 HP, but Crystal Maiden showing she's got the stuff, or the stash. Looking for the Frostbite, doesn't find it. SC, top lane, Sumail. He'll get the silence off, but he knows he doesn't have the control. There's still another 3 minutes left on that Aegis the Immortal, so SC waits for the blink, jumps up, and then away to safety.
Incredibly difficult to kill, and with Aegis, just absolutely no chance for them to kill him twice.
And everything in which you would commit to try and trigger off the Aegis is just going to be Newbee slowing down the game once more.
Oh,
Continue to farm up, keep that Sven in front.
He's also going for a Silver Edge next. At least that's what's in his quick buy. Nothing really
Quap?
great to break here. Yeah, on the Quap.
That's exact.
It will help him move around the fights a lot more, and it's an extra way to escape the puck without actually without building too defensively. And he can also limit the damage, I would say, from the puck or the Razor. More so the Razor than the puck because it's very hard to actually land a hit on the puck.
Bit of an odd item.
Or break Abba, the most obvious one, but I don't know if they have enough damage to burst him down. They still have to deal with that evasion.
He's almost finished that axe. 200 gold, and then you will be having that up for the Abaddon.
Yeah,
Going to make the fights for Newbee a little bit more complicated.
they definitely need a Lotus Orb on the side of EG to save people from getting chainsawed, and more importantly, to deal with this. If the Abba just dies while broken, they will lose the fight very, very heavily.
Is Newbee wrapping around? It looks like, yeah, they're headed down south under the cover of smoke. They've still got the tier 2 tower to bring down, so it's just an aggressive Observer Ward back behind the tower. So if EG do want to fight against the push of Newbee on the bottom lane, they're going to be in heavy vision.
Newbee are just way better about controlling the shrines. I think the way that they have played around the shrines and been very conservative about the shrines in the mid game have been very phenomenal. I think the first big fight that they took was close to EG shrine, but it was probably just some sort of efficiency play from the players. But when you can't fight on the shrine, you're forced to retreat, and you don't have the high ground anymore. It's devastating.
They're going in. They want to try and trigger off that borrowed time. The Blade Mail's already up from Universe. He is still dropping down low, but not low enough. As Faith, another quick Frostbite, and borrowed time, it does go off. Faith has to hide, but the Sentry Ward is there from Zai, so Crystal Maiden unable to escape from this one. Faith will fall. At the same time, Sven does claim the tier 2 tower on bottom lane with a rather large creep wave pushing him there, something which EG will either have to deal with or they try and focus on this mid fight.
Radiant's bottom
And that's exactly what happens. The courier sniped off. It has a full BKB on it. It has Artidi's BKB, so Kaka, he doesn't get out scot-free. They'll commit the Fiend's Grip into this. And SC also aggressively blinking forward. He needs that blink to get out of here. The quick Nightmare, however, is going to hold him in the mid lane, but then the blink out to safety. Top lane is being attacked. It's Samael trying to play around the corner. The black hole completely whiffed as Samael goes deeper into enemy territory. Into the tree line, starts the TP. They have nothing to stop him. Samael will escape. After claiming the tier 3 tower, so playing around those shrines, the shrines of Newbee are now open for EG's destruction.
And EG also turning the tables too. They're fighting very well despite Newbee having the Aegis. They picked up the Sven, who wasn't the carrier of the Aegis. They snagged the gem from the Sand King, and they wasted a black hole. They're pretty much not getting any value from this Aegis at all. And the net worth is still able to be overcome, only 10,000.
I'm wondering if they're still confident enough to push. Like when that BKB is currently sitting on a dead courier,
Yeah.
that has to be sitting in the back of your mind. Like we were meant to have that for this moment.
They still have a really strong team fight, and Universe could buy his Ags if the chicken were alive.
Yeah, he can't get it out to himself. He'll have to go all the way back home, which isn't part of the plan. Part of the plan, okay, is to wait for the courier to come up. Then you'll have the Ags, then you'll have the BKB, but take out the tier 2 tower, take out the shrines, and remove all out-of-building positions of Newbee.
Yeah, this is one of their biggest tools to win. But now that they have the Lincoln Sphere on the Enigma, perhaps they can still win fights without the shrines.
Tuska's actually got the Aghanim Scepter in his quick buy, and he just picked up the point booster.
It's so good at kiting BKB-dependent melee heroes. Like Ursa, Lifestealer, Sven, these heroes just get dominated by that Ags.
Oh, we'll get ready for Ronaldo. Kaka is already in the Newbee lineup. It seems a little bit ironic if Kaka gets kicked.
They would need a lot more force apps, I would think, to help them out. Probably, how many do they have right now? One on the Crystal Maiden, one on the Sand King. I don't know who else would buy it. I don't think Enigma has the slots for that sort of thing, but you want multiple force apps here. One to deal with the kick, and one to deal with the Razor Link.
Right now, I think Enigma's next big item has to be the Refresher Orb, actually having the double BKB and an ultimate from him. That has to be his next one.
Yeah, and it's also another way to pop the Lincolns. If he actually gets close enough, but Tuska's been pretty surprisingly high on the net worth. He didn't even pick up the GPM talent at level 15. He went for the snowball damage.
I'd actually love to see like if there's any kind of set about how many conversions he was farming on the bottom lane, because KPC kept pushing those conversions in. It was always Zai rotating down there, like Shard committing and snowballing, just mopping up that.
There you go.
943 gold from that. Okay, so Puck took the majority of it. He got 145 gold from conversions. Thank you, stats boys.
We have the technology now, Toby.
We have the power. All right, so there's that Aghanim Scepter now over on Samael. So more and more troublesome for Newbee to continue to walk around now that their immunity is pierced.
Newbee still can't get black holes, but EG have to be careful to approach not from the same angle.
Yeah.
Like, Puck can do whatever he wants because he's the most mobile hero, but the supports who don't have blink daggers and pretty much every other single hero who doesn't have a blink dagger has to be careful.
There's your jump forward. It goes over towards Kaka. A quick 4-star away. Where's that dream call? Samael holding on to a Kaka protected. They'll break the Lincoln Sphere, but where is your big damage? Where is your opening? They go for the Yule Scepter, but he's going to be able to get away. Yep, a quick blink, even with the silence that came out. It was the Bloodthorn of the Sven. But incapable to hold him there, so that's the smoke maneuver. That's EG revealing the Aghanim Scepter of the Puck, even if they didn't use the Dream Coil.
And still very wary about taking the fights close to the shrines. EG were able to claim one outer shrine after the T3, but not the bottom one. The top one, far more important, with Roshan respawning in just a minute now.
Well, they're moving forward, Faith. The man currently visible, Sumail gonna ult, but Faith now goes invisible. He has the power as well. As Kaka forcing in the mid lane. They know EG are just hovering around here, so they keep the split push going up on that top lane. The TP's coming in from Sumail. He'd love to have a little bit of a pick here on SC, but it's that Silver Edge we're talking about now, already completed on the Queen of Pain. She's actually lining up a full Mjolnir as her next pickup. So we're turning this into physical damage slash push of a Queen of Pain.
When she's this close to 25, I think the Mjolnir is incredibly good. They also don't have a way to dispel it. Dispel the Mjolnir. No diffusals, no tornado, nothing like that. I guess the Yule's on Sumail, but Puck's almost always use that defensively. But I don't know if they scouted out the Silver Edge. So now you have to think about, okay, now they have to protect their Abba. He is a big part of the team fight with that Axe now, and he cannot afford to die early on in the fight. Even if he fights back, the fight's likely going to already be lost.
Now, Newbee are in the position where they want to fight the Burrow Strike. It comes in, but Universe was able to grab that Invis Rune, gets dusted up. But it happens as Kaka is retreating. So there's no real follow-up to be had. A nice thing, though, however, is picking up that Arcane Rune into the Queen of Pain.
Time for double runes.
As we have crossed over the 40-minute mark. So SK's building up a Liquid Sphere as well. There's going to be double the protection for whoever they want to throw it on. You already have that one Liquid Sphere sitting over on the Enigma. Oh, Roshan's so close to spawning.
I don't think EG have any more smokes. And on the side of Newbee, there is one left on Fate. I don't exactly know how you wrap around, though. If you wrap around from the north side, you have to fight into the shrine. If you wrap onto the south side, you're approaching from the low ground. So I guess it might be a game of patience.
Just build it and they will come. I just put something on the front lines and you just want to knock it down. At Newbee, they're going to take up the unhealthy acting of smoking and try and find some kind of opening on EG, and they want this. This is a huge fight for either of these sides. You take the fight, you then take Roshan. Chris remaining close enough to the pit that he will actually reveal any kind of smoke walking in from Newbee into Roshan. And in fact, that will fail. And this is buying more and more time for EG to continue their farm. So the Aghanim Scepter now on the Tusk.
And the level 25 on the Queen of Pain.
They're going in.
Big. It's a slow roach, though, from EG. They don't have any heavy physical damage right now.
Is this a bait then? Is this just trying to get Newbee to come down and engage them?
Yeah, they have better positioning right now.
Burrow Strike actually catching out the Tuskar. Maybe with the damage in the epicenter. Yeah, Tuskar will fall. No buyback available. And KP! He gets 2 men in the black hole. Where is your follow-up? Where is it? It's actually going to be Arteezy on the run back out. What's a mail? He'll go in deep. You want the extra kill and you've got it. Arteezy will fall. Maybe you lose a little bit more. It'll be the Bane as well. Now Sumail, he's the man in trouble, but nowhere near as much trouble as Universe. Sumail has to keep running on the hillside. The Screamer doesn't connect. The Burrow Strike! It barely misses! Sumail will find his way home. Unfortunately, he has to write the letters to the family of the remaining EG members to tell them what the hell happened. It was a massacre around Roshan.
Despite Abba having his ult going on during the black hole, it was just still way too much damage coming out from them, and the Razor is just simply not tanky enough for this fight. Great black hole from them. I think they still even have the link going on the Sven as that's happening, but Newbee's positioning around the pit with the Quap approaching from the south side and Faith casting an ulti from the high ground is just too much for EG.
You see what happens when Dreamcall and Phoenix Grip cannot be used, and Enigma just holds him. It's the best situation for KP, and this before he actually has a refresher orb on him.
They don't have any damage is the problem. You have all this control. You have grid, you have snowball, you have like the kick, but there's no damage coming out. Abba doesn't really
isn't that
offer
meant to
enough.
come from Razor though? Like, isn't he the main man that's meant to do that, steal it and then inflict it?
But if there's only one person doing it, and you can just black hole him as they did in the last fight, and you especially want damage through BKBs. because Sven and Queen of Pain and Enigma all have one. So if you're just gonna straight up lose the BKB fight, that means you have to be able to kite, but
Well,
they can't run away against a black hole.
Well, Samael has no other option right now, but he had to go for magical damage. He's going for that high-level Dagon build in for the puck.
And there's not going to be any right click happening from him. It's just way too difficult with the amount of spells that he needs to dodge. So
At least maybe he can then pick off something like a Crystal Maiden if he's even got enough damage to achieve that. That Crystal Maiden's got a Solar Crest and Glimmer and, well, friends.
yeah, she has a lot more gold, and she's not even level 20 yet, where she could pick up the GPM talent right there. But now Enigma is reaching the critical mass, where he is going to have 2 black holes, 2 BKBs, and 2 Lincolns for that matter. He could potentially just like refresh during the BKB Lincolns without casting a black hole just to make sure that he's not interrupted.
It's double the fun. Samael really feels the pressure here as well. Like he's committing any money he had for a buyback in order to finish up that high-level Dagon. He knows he needs kills, even doing the refresher orb himself for the double control. Maybe something that could actually buy Arteezy the space. And Arteezy's trying to survive. Like having both the AC plus the Shiva's Guard on him, he's got a lot of ways to negate a large amount of physical damage, but
He still can get cleaved a lot because he's likely to be black holed a lot. If he's just solo, they'll just focus him down. If he's with other people, they'll black hole him and then cleave him down. So the armor doesn't do that much for him. We have seen some other builds from Razor. We've seen, I think, a heart build before, which is, I would say, just so-so in this game. But maybe you do want to get it if you're worried about getting cleaved down.
Samael's trying to be cheeky by attacking into the shrine, getting Newbee's warning signals to start flaring up. Your base is under attack.
That is so annoying. It's like, you're basing where? Who's doing that?
Where have I got to defend from? And EG, do they feel pressured enough that they have to 5-man force this in? Like, they're going to finish up the shrine now, so there's no TP out from that. And then with the jump, okay, that's a nice option. SC does get the BKB off, a quick blink away. The Dream Call was not going to hold him there. The Shiva's Guard flies out, and EG, well, Newbee are coming. They come from the west. And they look for EG, who are hugging the trees. And it's out, it's start to TP. It's just bail, bail, bail. The only person who can't, Zai, actually just waiting just a little bit longer. But EG will get out to safety, and Samael doesn't want to let this up. He TP'd up to the top lane. He wants to keep the pressure up there. That's the weakness of Newbee. No tier 3 tower, gets some momentum in the lane, and you may just have enough damage that Newbee won't be able to take the fights, or you can at least get a trade-off.
Trying for nothing seems pretty good for them. I think that's a good trade-off. I think this game is shaping up to be the big ultimates that you wanted with the black hole, maybe even 2 of them to finish this game.
The dream. Still want to see that positioning of Bane.
Yep.
Like so much pressure on crit in order to get that, like the big control off.
It's not even crit. I think it's more so on anyone else to pop the Lincolns onto Enigma before he goes in. And if he...
So you could actually get...
Yeah.
I suppose like once the BKB is up, you're right. Like what else is going to trigger?
Only Razor Link is the only thing that can do it. But he uses
But you don't want to do that. You need to have Arteezy stealing damage.
ideally, but also getting black hole is pretty. Not getting black hole is pretty important on your list of priorities. Black hole heroes do no damage.
I can concur on that one. At the same time, I'm also seeing side the Visor side to look to be built. There's more and more disables coming in from Newbee. Black hole is definitely a problem, but
at least they have a Lotus Orb coming out on Abba very soon. He can buy it, but he won't have buyback. And this way he can get rid of the Silver Edge / Orchid combo on himself, or just the Orchid rather.
all right, EG. Still got a little bit more time.
Just waiting for the Aegis to expire.
Yeah.
Won't be too long now. It's up co-op.
All right, you were right. 2 seconds, and Aegis the Immortal will be reclaimed. But I'm also seeing SC walking around with an extra 4.3k gold. And he's only got one more item to fill up, and that's when he gets rid of his bottle.
It's so hard to kill the co-op though, with Mjolnir on her, and even like the Shivas plus Scream combination is going to be ridiculous.
It's like they're trying to tank through it now. Like Skadi is the next thing in the mind of Arteezy.
Scotty is terrible versus Midnight Pulse, however. So he's caught in a pickle as to what item to build to survive.
He needs to survive and needs to be able to kite this vet in some kind of way. And the Skadi will at least give you that option.
Yeah, I think the Abba has to keep him alive.
Hiding in the trees underneath his own Observer Ward, crit. Glimmer and TP out. He still has a friend nearby, which is Sumail, who will also leave safely. And Sumail up to 5.8k, so that refresh orb is becoming a lot more of a reality for him. And in fact, he doesn't do it. He'll buy a Moon Shard, and he will consume it himself. Okay.
Screw Razor. He's a real damage dealer here.
You would say that, but everything else he has leans towards magical damage and surviving. Like, you get the Moon Shard over finishing your refresher orb.
He doesn't have any slots. He can get BOT2s right now, but he is going to have gold flowing out the wazoo right now that he's level 25. The GPM talent is so much better than the other one.
A prize.
The range and distance, the range and speed orb. That's at least allowing him to push in the top lane now. So who's nearby? Okay, that may be a solo kill. He's got the Dagon with the Dream Core committed, hiding inside the Glimmer Cape. Can't get more damage off. Faith has to keep waiting around, and in comes the reinforcements. SC waiting for him. The quick jump in, a quick Yule Scepter up. KP, do you want to commit for this? The Burrow Strike, it misses. Sumail into the tree lines. Keep the jump going. The Sonic Wave will be committed. They still don't have the vision. Sumail is doing the TP, and all the way home. Forcing Newbee to try and fight him.
Sumail's gotten in KP's head too. I think he could have just black holed on top of it, but after the whiff last time, he is very reluctant to do so.
How quick have you got to be to avoid that black hole? Like, if the black hole's down beforehand,
Yeah, it should theoretically be.
it should be instant, theoretically.
Yeah, theoretically. But you have to consider that Puck has to turn the right way. If he turns the right way, before-
Courier Snipe. No, he's got the Skadi. He already lost his BKB once. He can't lose another one. That illusion is there. Oh. Oops.
Wow.
All right, Faith, I think this time you do die. He has the Glimmer Cape and the Force Staff available, but here they jump in. Glimmer Cape to go. Force Staff pushes him up. Zai, he doesn't hit the shards. It's Faith turning around, actually blocking inside. They take on him down. Buyback is available, but from behind, here comes Newbee. They missed the Burrow Strike, however, so Crit can stand until the Stormbolt. It connects on two, and there's your Black Hole, holding him in. They actually picked up Sumail as well. How much damage? Not enough to kill up Sumail. The Yulset will buy him a little bit more time, but he's inside the Midnight Pulse. The damage being stolen here by Arteezy. He's actually going to have something to work with. The BKB is worn off. There goes your immunity, and there goes your HP. A triple kill for SC as Faith bringing down the icicles. Zai wants to fight. The snowball is down. Can he actually do a disable to buy any kind of space? No, he can't. A quick blink away to safety, but it's an ultra kill for SC. 3 heroes down, only one of them has buyback. And SC is still on the hunt. He would love to catch up to Zai, who's still on the retreat. A quick blink forward. He doesn't even need it. Starts with the Silver Edge, follows into the silence, and the damage is more than enough. SC, he is beyond godlike. The man that was shut down is now the hero of Newbee.
That's what makes a good Queen of Pain right there. And the chain of events that EG needs to stop the Enigma from Black Hole is just far too convoluted right now. It's even hard to theory craft. It's like, okay, well, find the Enigma on the high ground, not smoked, before BKBs pop the Lincolns with one of your spells, and then you have to stop his Blink Dagger. And then after that, you still need the Bane to be alive to stop his grip.
Boogie.
That is just ridiculous.
Fiend Strip, they're going to kick him out, but actually means the Dream Call connects and actually does a lot of damage, combining up with the Dagon. Big kill for Sumail, the combination, the positional play that comes in from that Tuskar kick. We don't see it often, but that is the way to use it.
You have to respect the kick range. It is absurdly long.
Sending all the way back into the
1400.
base.
Yeah. Even if you were able to blink after it, you still wouldn't be able to come back.
That's the long goal out of the penalty box, and here it is again.
Yeah, great black hole coming out from him. If he stops the Bane and just able to black hole him, there's like almost no way. Theoretically, Tusk can punch him from outside of range, but that is so improbable that KP is completely okay with just black holing the Bane plus whomever is unfortunate enough to be right by him.
It still seems so crazy. Like, that was, what, 336 damage stolen by Arteezy in that last fight, and it was still in case, like, he still had no presence. He stood there and was like, hi, guys.
Then he had to deal with Warcry. Like, Warcry is really good versus Razor. Most of his damage is physical.
Right now, the best thing he can do is take a selfie and just watch everyone else do the work. Now they jump in. KP, he's waiting. The black hole is up. He wants the perfect opportunity to jump in. Oh, okay, that wasn't it. But the Dream Coil does get blown.
And Sven's buyback also gets blown. So now we have, what, Sven and Puck without buybacks right now? As well as the Tusk and the Crystal Maiden. So 4 heroes, no buyback.
The difference is, however, in just a couple of seconds, that refresh orb is going to be back off cooldown.
But they don't have BKB. He might be in this position where he might not want to.
Well, he just goes in for the first one and then just refreshes and gets the BKB up and running. There goes Jafine's Grip, a big target. It's SC down. He has buyback available. The Shards won't be able to actually slow down the Sven. He'll have to trigger the BKB. Now the BTs, they're jumping in on this fight side. The damage is big, and there it is with the epicenter. They focus the mail down for 2 minutes with no buyback. Refresh orb out from KP. They're ready to fight once more. Sonic Wave, it clips onto Crit. They don't see him, however. He's TPing out under the cover of the trees while Universe battles manly up against the rest of Newbee. Unfortunately, he's not that much of a man. He will fall as well. EG, 2 heroes down with no buyback. Newbee will have to claim Roshan. And EG have to look to the defenses as Newbee are slaying the boar that Roshan turned into.
KP was a bloodhound that fight, just looking for the hero without buyback that he so desperately needed to catch in his black hole. And didn't even expend the second one. Yeah, he got it. And Puck's down for 80 seconds. That is an eternity when you're dealing with Aegis and Cheese and still a black hole to boot.
Here they come. Enter the base, the Forest Strike. Actually able to catch out a Batten with the Stormbolt as well. And there goes your black hole once more. Will the damage? It didn't actually catch out Arteezy, but it's enough to bring down a Batten. No buyback out from him. So now it's 2 on 5. Can EG hold the impossible here? Crit's falling down. Ezzy's making work of that. It looks completely impossible. It is the mid lane for Newbee. The buyback comes out from Arteezy, but he stands alone. And Newbee are just going for the GG push. God strength up, attack the tier 4 towers, and GG. Newbee claim game 1 in this winner's bracket final.
The first 25 minutes of the game, I think it was Kaka that really set the pace for Newbee to make it so that it was a slow sort of game. Every time Newbee wanted to fight, black hole, shrine, some sort of